Welcome and thank you for choosing to spend your time with us on Let's Ask Alice. My name is Alice Dufresne Reyes and I'm the college health nurse here at Gavilan, your community college. Here at Gavilan, we work with our students to live a full and healthy life. Most recently, the Surgeon General here in the U.S. concluded that there is no risk-free level of exposure to secondhand tobacco smoke. So we need to establish smoke-free environments to prevent exposure. In addition, over the last 10 years, internal documents from the tobacco industry showed that 20% of those who smoke on a daily basis started during their 20s. So the college years have been identified as a time of increased risk of starting and becoming a daily smoker. To help with this endeavor to ensure that this does not happen, we're excited to have nonprofit organizations such as Breathe California Bay Area in our community. And today we are so fortunate to have Margo Sidener, the president and CEO of Breathe California Bay Area, with us. So welcome, Margo.
Well, thank you, Alice. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Can you share with our television audience a bit about your background?
Well, way back when,
Yeah.
I was going to be a teacher. I got my undergraduate degree in English, and then I got married and moved to New York.
Oh, okay.
So I got there and found out that things were a little different as far as the requirements, and I got a job and worked for a while until I had some money to go back to graduate school. Then I got my master's in public health. Here it's called public health. Back there it's a master's in health education. And I plan to teach health education. Things don't always work out the way that we plan in life. And so I went from University of Illinois, got married right after graduating, moved to Schenectady, New York, went to Russell Sage College. And just as I was ready to start teaching there, in fact, in May, and I had a job I was going to start in September, my ex-husband got moved out here to California. So we moved out here, and I thought, oh, well, I can teach English, I can teach health education. And then I found out about Prop 13, which had caused the layoff of 5,000 teachers in the Bay Area. So at that point, I couldn't even find a job substituting. So I started volunteering, and I volunteered with our agency. I first did asthma camp. I rewrote the whole curricula.
At Breathe California.
Yes,
for asthma
the
camp.
workbooks and everything.
Wonderful.
And which, you know, Breathe California Bay Area still has our asthma camp today.
Wonderful.
And we serve kids from throughout the Bay Area. And then I was program associate there for a while. I worked part-time, and then I progressed to program coordinator, program director, and then when I was program director, I came in one day and there was a note from the board asking me to fill in as executive director. And so later they appointed me, and I was an accidental CEO.
And a very well deserved, because you're excellent. I know we've worked with you here at Gavilan College for several years, almost
since
2 decades.
we were children.
Right. Right. And
Yes.
I know we've always really appreciated all the information. And I know through this time together, people in the audience are going to say, gosh, what about Camp Asthma? I have kids maybe that were newly diagnosed. And we'll be putting up the information about Breathe California at the end of the program so that they can call or go on the website in regards to that.
That would be great. We only do it once a year. They have to get in for summer, of course, in August.
But it's a wonderful thing. Well, and we're in a new partnership.
Yes, and that's exciting.
Yeah, can you share with
We've been in a few.
Right, this is a new one.
This time we actually got the chance to support you a little bit with a mini grant, so that makes it even more fun. Breathe California works traditionally by collaborating with partners in their community, as you know. We believe that that's how everything gets done in life. And so we were able, because we got a grant through the Communities Putting Prevention to Work program with the Public Health Department in Santa Clara through the Center for Disease Control. We were able to set aside some of that money, and we'll be trying to assist you in any way we can to have more smoke-free spaces here at Gavilan.
And one of the things, just going back to that, Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, who is the kingpin, the wonderful resource for our nation.
The go-to place for health information.
They identified, there was a process where people wrote grants, and out of Santa Clara County Public Health Department, they wrote a grant. And I know that Santa Clara County is only one of 3 counties in the state of California that received funding. And then part of the process, when they received the funding, then Breathe California received some of that funding.
Then we put in an application to their RFP. And we were selected for the tobacco cessation portion of it. And we're so we're also starting some cessation activities here. And we'll be offering a course that's open to the community in April. So that's exciting. That's our Ash Kicker program, which is a 6-week cessation class.
And talk a little bit about this Ash Kicker program.
Yes, everyone likes that title. Ash Kickers is designed to help people go through the process of quitting, which is a long process. It doesn't work every time because people sometimes need a lot of practice, but it has an excellent evaluation rate, and we were able to get that primarily because our sister chapter in Golden Gate, Breathe California, had a grant also with their county in San Mateo and did a lot more evaluation. So we're very pleased with the results. It is available in English and Spanish.
So it's a good program.
Good program. And we, of course, believe that the process has been defined to really be helpful to people. The first 3 weeks, you don't quit. You get ready. And then on the 3rd meeting, at the end of the meeting, you quit. And then the next 3 weeks are spent trying to transition you into being a non-smoker. And we look the very first part, we're identifying why you want to quit, why you do smoke. We look at your individual triggers and have you do an individual plan to have alternative behaviors that you're going to try instead of smoking. And then we work on stress control also, of course, and stress reduction. And then the next 3 weeks after you quit, we're trying to transition to longer term behavior. So we have to address nutrition and weight control because everyone's so afraid they're going to gain weight.
That's what you commonly hear.
That's what you commonly hear, which of course is not correct. And then we also try to get people moving and doing exercise because it has the added advantage of getting those endorphins going in your brain to tell you are doing something good and you are happy. And so we like to have people try things that they've given up because they just got short of breath maybe or couldn't do it anymore, and try to change their lifestyle a bit. We also continue with the stress reduction techniques, and we look at their social concerns. You know, it's a long-term thing to give up smoking. And so you're going to be facing maybe a whole year down the road, you'll be facing the holiday time when everybody's coming who smokes in your family. You'll be facing, you know, what do you do at birthdays and all of those other special times. And just the stress that might come down the road. So we try to get people ready so that they don't relapse. We now know that there is a whole process. You know, in the old days we said, okay, you're quit or you're not quit. Now we understand that there are several steps to quitting, all the way from pre-contemplation when you're not really even thinking about it, to action and maintenance, and then relapse. So the good thing is we tell the people in our class that you don't have to go all the way back to pre-contemplation. You can skip some of those through contemplation and preparation and get back to preparing to quit instead of having lost. So every time people go through the quitting process, they gain something.
So it's not, and it's not a judgmental situation.
No, we don't dislike the smokers. We
no.
dislike smoking.
Right, right.
That's a whole different thing.
Right.
It's not the person, it's what they've probably developed from the tobacco industry and unfortunately addiction. So we understand that. My own mother smoked for 46 years.
Right.
And I saw what she went through to quit, so I never started.
Right.
But I certainly can empathize with people. My mother did finally quit. I was very proud of her. And she was quit for 19 years before she died. So,
well, it's such a severe correlation between an activity and chronic disease and death. And I think people, once they're in a cessation class, and the facilitators are so supportive.
Yes, and the rest of the class.
Right. And so
that's the idea, is to have a support group.
Right. You have that support system to say, hey, you're not going through this alone.
Right.
And I think that's really very, very important. So Ash Kicker program, and it is going to start here on the campus in mid-April, and people that are interested in the program can call Breathe California to sign up, and that will be listed, of course, at the end of the program too. In addition to the Ash Kicker Cessation Class program, what are some other wonderful things that Breathe California is doing?
Well, this week, of course, it's World TB Day. It's actually the 23rd. We were celebrating today, the 22nd. And that's an unfortunate thing. I shouldn't say celebrating because we really shouldn't be having tuberculosis. It's an exciting time for us because we just turned 100 on March 12th. Yes, Breathe California. Our agency that started in the alumni building of San Jose State with a few people, I think there were 11 people, those 11 people made something happen that has lasted all these years. So we started as the Tuberculosis Association, and that it is sad that 100 years later we're still having to battle TB because it is a bacterial disease. It is able to be eradicated if we could just get a handle on it. Right. So we're hoping that that does change down the road. And there was some good news that we have indeed gone down and down and down, but we are still one of the highest in the country. One of the highest states or counties? Well, California is the highest state. It actually accounts for about 20% of all TB. The county is one of the highest counties. And in San Jose, the San Jose, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara triangle there, which is listed as one of the metro centers. Of metro centers over 500,000. It's the #1 in the country. You know, I think part of that, because as you probably know, historically I ran the TB clinic for the county health department many years ago. And historically, I think in our county, we're so vigilant about screening. We really want to look for it. We have our eyes open to say, okay, let's look for it, let's find it early. Right. If people need treatment, let's get them on treatment, let's follow up to ensure all that. So I think that we're fortunate that we live in a county that looks so proactively at it and can do something about it. So there was a bit of news that was disconcerting, and that is that they have uncovered a link between tobacco, that we're talking about today, and tuberculosis, and also between tuberculosis and diabetes. So these are very significant health threats all on their own, and to make that linkage with tuberculosis is a serious one. It could mean a lot more TB in the future if we don't control TB. So that's one of the things. You know, we're the clean air people. Right. And we're having our Bay Area-wide Clean Air Luncheon on April 15th. Okay. We have great award winners, which I can't announce, of course. Right. But we did just finish our process. There's a nomination process. Anyone who has someone or a company that has done great things to try to reduce air pollution in the Bay Area can nominate them.
Oh, good.
And
they do that by going on, on your website?
Yes.
Which
now,
is,
it just ended for this year.
Right. But for
next year, they would go on our website,
which is
www.lungsrs.org.
Lungs?
That's LUNGSRUS.
Okay. And all lowercase?
Yes.
And we'll have
at certain points of the year, the Clean Air Awards site is up, so you could Google in Clean Air Awards, and that would work. But that's exciting for us to see what's been taking place in the Bay Area, and the reason that we do have better air quality now than we did 20 and 30 years ago.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's something that will be happening in San Francisco on April 15th, and that's in combination with our Breathe California Golden Gate chapter. Wonderful. The two of us. We do collaborate on a lot of things. We'll be the beneficiary of the Beta Breakers race.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is kind of a crazy race.
Right, but that's great.
But we're the beneficiary, so if you want to run, I think we still have a few spots in the beginning of the pack there.
Okay.
And it's a big pack with,
right.
you know, well, they don't know how many people come, but the ones that register, they were limiting it to 50,000 this year. So if you've never been, it's quite a thing.
Right.
They are trying to tighten up on the drinking and the nudity. So,
right.
But we will be having 100 runners that come right after the real qualified runners. Okay. So it's right there in the front.
Oh, wonderful.
And in order to be one of those runners, you just have to earn $250 in pledges.
Oh, wonderful.
And you can run in the beginning.
Oh, a lot of people, I bet, don't know about this. So they would go to your website again?
Yes.
That would be great, because I know a number of people that run this. And that would be excellent to be right at the front of the pack.
It really is. I know, because I worked as a volunteer 2 years ago at what's called Footstock afterwards, and they came back and they were just so happy that they had gotten in that position. We also need volunteers. We provide the volunteers, and the South Bay is providing the water stop volunteers. Okay. So, easy job handing water to people.
Right. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So again, because we have a number of students that are looking for volunteer activities.
That qualifies.
And that would be really fun to do. And I don't know the date this year for the...
May, I'm thinking 18th. It's the third Sunday.
Third Sunday of May. And we'll put that on our website too for people.
Great.
And with the link to lungsrs.org so people can connect.
And then we have a bicycling event that happens in July.
Okay.
And then we have our walk in October.
Right.
But we also, all during the year, use volunteers for a number of outreach activities for education. So we, every day, have interns in our office who are learning different kinds of skills for health professions.
And attending health fairs is one of them.
Attending health fairs. Tomorrow we will have people out for the Kick Butts Day that the county is running in conjunction with the new grant. And we're also always interested in people to help with public relations.
Our communication majors?
Yes, communication majors. You know, the last week we have 2 interns that were doing the whole media shtick. I mean, they were sending out and faxing and emailing, and then they were making the pitches to the media, and then today got to be with looking at the press conference, how it goes, what happens. So it is a learning experience, and we're happy to have their support.
Right.
We have, because of the downturn in the economy, all nonprofits have suffered. You know, Breathe California did have a Gilroy office for many years. I remember that. And we had to give that up. That was unfortunate. But we're still offering the services down here, so we still need volunteers.
You might want to share with the television audience the location of the office now. that's been there for quite a while in San Jose.
Yes, we've been at the same location for 29 years.
Right.
It's 1469 Park Avenue, San Jose, 95126.
Right. So it's just close to the Rose Garden.
Yes, it's a nice area. It's become much nicer as we have been there. And so it's just down from the old Hoover Junior High and the Rosicrucian Museum.
Great.
And we've been there many, many, many years.
Right. Great.
So.
I just want to go back to the cessation classes because those will be in the evening here on campus.
Yes,
on, like, I think the first one's April 18th, which is a Monday evening from 6 to 7:30. So
Correct.
it's an hour and a half slot.
6 to 7:30.
For people to.
And there is 1 week when they would come twice.
Right.
After that third meeting, when you actually quit, then we have them come back 2 days later instead of waiting a whole week.
Right.
And that's to get extra support. Some people really don't have many what we call withdrawal symptoms, but others do and need a little support to manage those, which can all be managed pretty easily if they know what to do.
Right.
And know that the urge will go away whether they smoke or not.
Right. And that's sometimes difficult to
to remember.
Right, to understand.
Yeah.
So, Margo, is there anything else that you would like to leave with our television audience?
Well, I think that it's a time for all of us to look at prevention, to make sure that you're doing everything you can as an individual to take care of yourself. Because the resources that we have are becoming more and more and more scarce for this as far as the public and public health goes.
Right.
So I think prevention is more important than ever.
I do too. I agree with you. And I think that hopefully people will take this to heart and take a moment to share this with their family and friends. I want to thank you, Margo, so much.
Thank you.
For coming on and extend an invitation for the future to rejoin us here on Let's Ask Alice.
And we'll look forward to our collaboration here.
Correct, correct. This is your host of Let's Ask Alice, thanking each one of you for allowing us to spend this time together. Join us next time. I do hope you decide to find joy in every day. Wishing you the best of health.